Hello, I am Lamarr Townsend Tarot. I am a astrologer, a psychic reader, a tarot reader, and an energy channeler. So thank you for listening and watching to my video. On Nikocado Avocado, Stephanie Sue, Trisha Paytas, and anyone else involved in this situation, but we will be mainly focusing on Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue, since they are the main people involved. Alright, so thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share with your friends and family. Make sure you hit the bell next to the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time I upload a new video or anytime I go live, alright? Also, make sure you hit all notifications when you hit the bell. Make sure you also follow me on my social media and like me on my social media pages, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. And if you would be interested in a personal reading from me, I am a psychic reader, tarot reader. I'm also an astrologer, and I do candle work as well. So I would love to do a reading for you. I do astrology birth chart readings and natal chart readings. I also do psychic tarot readings and more. I'm very affordable. I have specials right now. The New Year 2020 special is you get one candle of your choice. You get a 30-minute recorded psychic tarot reading and a 30-minute recorded birth chart reading, okay? I also have the $55 special where you get a 20-minute psychic tarot reading recorded and a 20-minute recorded birth chart reading. All on my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com/specials. So thank you for listening and watching. Today I'm going to do something a little bit differently. It's 2020, so I want to do different things with my channel. And one of my gifts is that I am an energy channeler. So most of the time, if you are an avid watcher of my YouTube channel, and I know a lot of people watch my videos, I have a ton of videos. I have astrology videos, psychic readings, and just a whole bunch. It's a mishmash of a lot of things on this YouTube channel, alright? I'm also an artist, too, but anyways, I want to do something different in 2020 moving forward with my channel. I want to do more videos where I don't actually use tarot cards. I just channel the energies. Some of my favorite psychic tarot readers that I really enjoy and that I look up to and that are friends of mine actually don't use cards. Or if they do use cards, they couple that with their intuition, their energy channeling ability. So I am used to being around that energy and to learning from that energy, and being around those types of people, I have increased my energy channeling abilities. So I want to practice that more on my YouTube channel, and I want to do more videos where I'm channeling energy and not necessarily using cards. But even when I'm using cards, if you notice, I'm really channeling energy as well. So with that being said, this video is on Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue. So if you don't know the drama, I'm going to sum it up really quickly for you. Nikocado Avocado is a mukbang YouTuber. Mukbang is a niche on YouTube in which basically people eat large amounts of food on camera, and it seems to be really satisfying, and it's for some people grotesque at the same time. I happen to like certain mukbangers, but you know, I don't know. It is what it is, you know. The thing with mukbang, the mukbang community now, is that it's gotten to a lot of drama lately. Nikocado Avocado is someone who is causing a lot in the mukbang community. He's stirring up a lot of drama. In the past, and I brought up Trisha Paytas, who is a YouTuber who does mukbangs, but is mainly totally separate from the mukbang community. Nikocado Avocado and Trisha Paytas actually got into some drama a couple years ago because Trisha Paytas apparently ghosted Nikocado Avocado when he went to Los Angeles, where Trisha Paytas lives, and they were supposed to collab, but Trisha didn't answer him. So Nikocado Avocado called out Trisha for that, and Trisha, you know, got canceled for a minute, kind of bounced back, still seems to be bouncing back, but you know, they came back around and they did some collabs, so it seems like they're on good terms, but we'll see about that, really. And then the most recent drama with Nikocado Avocado is the Stephanie Sue situation. So Stephanie Sue is also another mukbanger who apparently Nikocado and Stephanie Sue collabed, and the thing with this is that apparently Nikocado tried to manipulate Stephanie Sue to talk about something she didn't want to talk about at the time. And Stephanie Sue then came on camera, posted a video saying why she was scared of Nikocado Avocado because of this. And it just kind of spiraled into a whole domino effect. So I'm going to see what is going on with the situation around Stephanie Sue, around Nikocado Avocado, and let's just get right into it. So there's a lot of people involved in this situation energetically, so I just want to make sure that I cleanse my space with some sage. Sage is amazing for cleansing energies and creating a really good sacred space to channel energies as well. So you'll find that most psychics, energy channelers, Reiki healers, tarot readers do use sage. Tarot readers will also use sage to cleanse their cards. So if you didn't know that, sage is also good for cleansing your cards, alright, of negative energies or energies that you pick up as you do a lot of readings. And I have clients that I read for, so I have to constantly keep my cards clear and my energy clear. So first we're going to look into Stephanie Sue and Nikocado Avocado. So I pick up with Stephanie Sue that as a young child she's always had trust issues. So with Stephanie Sue and like getting to know people on a personal level, and I don't know her zodiac sign, I don't know any of these people's zodiac signs, it would be a little bit helpful, and I could look, but I'm just going to channel energy. Stephanie Sue seems like the type of person I pick up energetically where it's like she puts you through certain tests, which it feels very scorpionic to me, almost Gemini as well. She puts you through certain tests to figure out whether or not you're really trustworthy. And she kind of holds people at an arm's length until she figures out that she can bring you closer. So it seems like this is what she was going through with Nikocado Avocado at the time of their drama, was that she was trying to figure out, can I really trust this person? Let me put this person in certain scenarios and situations and see how, you know, they deal with these tests. Now when it comes to Nikocado Avocado's upbringing is a little bit more rocky, whereas I get, for example, that Stephanie, even though she had certain situations in her childhood, maybe abandonment issues that stem from the parents, I do pick that up. Not abandonment in the sense of she was dropped off at someone else's house or anything like that. It just feels like maybe almost like a latchkey kid. Like her parents worked so much or they were so involved in their own lives that they weren't always giving Stephanie Sue the time and attention, the love, the care she really needed. Which did cause some abandonment issues, trust issues. I also do pick up that Stephanie went through certain situations in her friend groups growing up where she kind of realized maybe she couldn't trust certain people. And it's interesting because I pick up people of all different races, so I don't know exactly where Stephanie grew up, but it feels like she experienced some slight racism or prejudice as well. So I feel like a lot of what Stephanie Sue is going through has, you know, in her own personal life with this situation has started since childhood. Now when it comes to Nikocado Avocado's childhood, I get the sense that Nikocado Avocado's childhood was much more rocky, is the best word I can pick up. I just get the image of Nikocado Avocado as like a little child, and like a suitcase on his side, he's holding a little suitcase, and he has like a little blankie and a teddy bear, and he kind of goes from house to house. It's like he stays at this house for a little while longer, packs his suitcase, and then he's at another door. So I've watched a couple videos about Nikocado Avocado, or I've watched some of his videos, and I remember him saying, I don't know if he's adopted or something like that, or I remember him saying he's an orphan, but I get the sense that I don't know if Nikocado Avocado's actually had a home. I don't know if Nikocado Avocado has ever actually felt like he's had a family, or people that he can trust or relate to, or people that he can call his own, in a sense, if that makes sense. So it's like, and this is something, and it's interesting they both have this kind of situation that all of this is stemming from childhood. This is something where Nikocado Avocado has experienced since his childhood, and is still experiencing this today. Now I know he's married, for example, Orlin is his husband, but I get something where it's like, even with their relationship, and not for nothing, you know, I've seen some of Nikocado Avocado's videos, and I think, you know, definitely in certain instances he definitely plays things up and acts for the camera, but I think behind the scenes he doesn't feel like he has a home in Orland, even though they're married. There's something where Orland can be very, once again, and it's interesting that there's parallels between Stephanie and Nikocado in this way. it seems like Orlin can sometimes be so focused on his own life or his own family. Do you understand that? How Orlin, Nikocado's husband, actually has a family that he can call home to. Now, I don't know Orlin's specific situation, but I don't get the sense that Orlin was adopted, and if Orlin was adopted, he's much more closer to his family than Nikocado Avocado would be to his supposed family. And I feel like if Orlin was adopted, it kind of is like the situation where he was adopted into one family and he's stuck with that one family. But I don't necessarily get adoption. I get that Orlin was born into the family that he's actually born into. So I don't know what Orlin's situation is, but I get the sense that Orlin can be so focused on his own life that it feels like sometimes Nikocado Avocado feels excluded. And Nikocado Avocado has this kind of thing with families where it's like he always feels like he's on the outside of the family because of his upbringing. So Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue meet, collab, and we have this big situation that unfolds. I am sensing some jealousy, I'm not gonna lie, and it feels more so jealousy from Nikocado Avocado's part towards Stephanie. There's something about Stephanie where Nikocado Avocado sees Stephanie as kind of having everything he wants in his life. You know, Stephanie seems to have the big home, the very nice home. She lives in a nice neighborhood. I feel like wherever Stephanie lives, she lives in the hub of everything, too. So I don't know if she lives in Los Angeles or something like that, but I feel like if she lives in Los Angeles, it's like the downtown area that's like, it's kind of the hub of everything, but it's also in like a hush kind of place where it's like there's not a lot of activity here, but if you walk a couple blocks down, it's like that's where all the activity is, or you're getting closer to the activity. Anyways, I don't know where Nikocado Avocado lives right now, but I feel like Nikocado Avocado's apartment isn't as glamorous as Stephanie's, for example. I get the sense that it's like a really tall building that Nikocado Avocado lives in. So I get the sense that there's like no personalization in it either. So I don't know what that's about, but it just feels like Nikocado Avocado has this thing where he kind of looks up to people, but he also envies them at the same time. And I feel like this is what was going on with Stephanie. So I feel like, and once again, you have to remember that Stephanie is bringing Nikocado Avocado into her space, testing him, keeping him at an arm's length, but still testing him. I'm remembering there's something about Stephanie where she said she went to the bathroom and on her security system she saw Nikocado Avocado when she looked back at it later on. When she went to the bathroom taking pictures of her room, that was a test, Nikocado Avocado, and you failed her test. She went to the bathroom to test you to see what you would do while she was not in the room, while she was not in your vicinity. Alright? So, okay, so let's get into the situation where Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue actually meet. Like I was saying, I think there is some jealousy with them. Not for nothing, I think there's this dynamic with Stephanie Sue and her boyfriend, fiance, husband. I don't know what her situation is. I think she's engaged. Where I think they just have a good dynamic. I think there's something about Stephanie's boyfriend, fiance, husband that makes Stephanie feel secure, that protects Stephanie. This guy feels very gentle, soft in his own right, more observant. Like, it's kind of like he lets Stephanie do her thing, but he's like always around, observing, there when she needs her, you know, and he doesn't interject himself too much. And it feels like with Orlin and Nick, it's like they come in like a pair, they come in a duo, and they both can kind of be a mess. But I think in this situation, Nikocado Avocado went over Stephanie's house by himself. Now it feels like there was honestly some drama leading up to this meeting. So I feel like there were some text messages shared. I don't know if it was shared between necessarily Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue. I feel like it was shared more so between Nikocado Avocado and his other friends. And I'm seeing Zach Choi. And a couple other people, and then it's like Stephanie kind of had her crew that she was talking, and I feel like they were talking about each other to these people. So right off the bat, it seems like going into this situation, both were very apprehensive and unsure. I'm also getting this energy of stop-start. So I don't know if, like, leading up to this situation, Stephanie was unsure of whether or not she wanted to actually go through with it. So I feel like there was like some sort of delay. I feel like leading up to Nikocado Avocado actually going to her house, there was like some uncertainty. So you know how sometimes it's like you're supposed to meet up with someone and you're both a little bit unsure about how it's going to go or whether or not it's going to happen. And there's certain cues that kind of show you that, I don't know how this is going to go, such as maybe you know, earlier in the day, you're both communicating, you know, easily and you're texting back fast, but as the day goes on and it leads up to you actually meeting, the text becomes slower. The messages become, you know, more delayed. It's like, you know, they answer back maybe 30 minutes, an hour later versus earlier in the day when they were answering back 10 minutes later. I feel like there was something like that going on that made Nikocado Avocado go in apprehensively. And we have to remember that Nikocado has this kind of complex where he always thinks that people don't want him or people don't like him deep down, and that stems from his childhood and his childhood upbringing of constantly going from home to home, alright? Or not feeling like he had a family in some way, shape, or form. So, I see them meeting. I see it's really nice. It's like, okay, he's here, I'm here. Let's see how it goes. And I feel like Stephanie, like, she tried to give Nikocado Avocado a chance, but I just feel like honestly these two are not. They were not meant to be friends. They're not meant to collab with one another. It's just like their energies don't mesh together at all. They're coming from two separate perspectives, two separate areas of life, I feel like. And trying to weed through the energies. I feel like, interestingly enough, there was something about, it was a lot of things that caused this actual blow up. I feel like there's something about how these two do mukbangs behind the scenes that also caused this blow up, where it's like, you know, I don't know, I'm not a mukbanger, but it feels like mukbangers, it's like they're on camera, they turn the camera off, and it's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different dynamic between the two of them than, or anyone else you see who collaborates with mukbangs, where it's like, on camera it's one dynamic, off camera it can be a totally separate dynamic, and I think that was the situation here, where off camera, when they weren't collaborating, I feel like there was just no connection between Stephanie Sue and Nikocado Avocado at all. Like, I really don't see a connection. Like, I see when the camera turns off, it's like they had to kind of struggle to find things to talk about, or struggle to not make it, like, kind of awkward. And I feel like Nikocado Avocado actually off camera is a little bit more, I don't know if it's necessarily shy, but more reserved, more, okay, we're going to do this next, you know, and then we're going to segue into this, and we're going to talk about this. It's like he's a lot more structured, whereas Stephanie Sue is much more go with the flow. So I feel like on some level Stephanie Sue felt like she was being controlled. Stephanie Sue was like, oh my god, like this is so, you know, why am I here? Like usually when I'm mukbang by myself or with other people, it goes this way. So I feel like there was like a conflict of interest, or a conflict of the way the two worked in terms of their mukbang platforms. Now when it comes to the drama between the two of them and the manipulation, once again, I see, like, it's more to the story. There was, like, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that has not been brought up to the surface, I feel like. And it deals a lot of back and forth in terms of communication. So I feel like there's other people involved. And it's like, you know, Nikocado goes to this one, and this one goes to Stephanie. And then this one talks to Stephanie, this one goes back to Nikocado Avocado. Or this one tells someone else, and that someone else goes back to Nikocado Avocado. It's like that kind of thing. He said, she said. And I feel like that is what caused a lot of this blow up. Because there's also a delay somehow between when the drama started, or when the blow up happened, and then when Stephanie actually made her video. So I feel like there's that delay. There's something there where it's like, I feel like Stephanie actually wasn't going to say anything. Neither one were going to say anything, but there's something that happened behind the scenes, I feel like, in terms of communication, where it's like, it was the last straw, and Stephanie decided to say something. So I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in this mukbang community that we don't see. And it feels kind of like, almost like, you know, oh, well, Stephanie, I went over Stephanie Sue's, you know, to do that collaboration, and oh my god, she was this way and that way, and I can't stand her. Or it's like, she's like, Nikocado Avocado is so weird, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I feel like at some point Stephanie Sue tried to avoid the situation. Stephanie Sue has an avoidant personality, where she would rather avoid a situation, avoid circumstances, rather than deal with them. It feels very Libran. Picking up Libra, Scorpio, Gemini with her. But, Nikocado Avocado, I feel like, continued to push Stephanie, but it was more in a passive-aggressive way in terms of... I feel like Nikocado Avocado has this thing where he will talk through other people. So it's like he'll tell someone or he'll ask someone to relay a message to her, to Stephanie's camp or something like that. So there's this back and forth, I feel like, behind the scenes between the two of them. And I feel like finally, because Nikocado Avocado was getting other people involved in the situation, and other people involved that didn't need to be involved in the situation, I feel like Stephanie finally reached a point where it's like, I'm going to say something, because now he's like making it bigger than it needs to be, and I'm getting really sick of this. Like, I'm getting really sick of it, I'm getting really sick of him. This is how I literally hear her speaking. We only collaborated once, we only collaborated this at times. He did this and that to me, I never told anyone that. You know, when I went to the bathroom, I saw that he did this, you know, and I don't know if I should tell anyone, I don't know who to tell. And I actually think that Stephanie considered, like, calling her lawyers early on. I feel like Stephanie had some sort of conversation with someone early on. I don't know if it was a lawyer, a manager, and I'm seeing the police, so I don't know if she thought about calling the police as well, but she definitely talked to someone. And someone told her to take all the footage of Nikocado Avocado that she had to build a case against Nikocado Avocado, not only for the public but also for her private accounts, just in case things elevated to a point like they are now where she did have to sue him or she did have to call the police or something like that. Because not for nothing, I think, is Stephanie Sue actually afraid of Nikocado Avocado? I think yes, but not in the sense that, like, Stephanie would, or Nikocado would actually hurt Stephanie. It's just like a matter of, you never know what Nikocado Avocado has up his sleeve. You never know, like, you can't put anything past Nikocado Avocado, and it makes sense because Nikocado Avocado comes from this childhood or this background. Nikocado Avocado comes from this background where he didn't really have stability, and at the same time he didn't learn boundaries, because a big part of our learning boundaries deals with our childhood upbringing, alright? So the people that we're around, the children, you know, the friends that we have and things like that. So I feel like Nikocado didn't have that socialization at a young age. And there's something there where it's like, you know, you can't necessarily put anything past someone like that, alright? Someone that's gone through that type of upbringing. So I feel like it's more so in the sense of, and not for nothing, Nikocado Avocado has like multiple sides of his personality. You know, I'm looking at Nick from Stephanie's perspective, and it's like Nick, you know, there's the Nick on camera that you see that's wild and crazy and crying and eating and laughing, and it's like, you know, Jekyll Hyde kind of thing. But then there's the Nick in front of you, like, you know, face to face, like having a normal conversation. He seems, you know, balanced, he seems totally normal, and it's like, who is the real Nick here? And I feel like that's how Stephanie's looking at the situation. Like, who is the real Nick? Who can I trust? I don't know. It's too crazy for me, too scary, rather not deal with it. That's how I see Stephanie being. So I think when it comes to Nick, I think Nick is going to kind of continue to go on a downward spiral. I feel like he's going to try to bounce back. He's going to try to get back on his regularly scheduled program by just doing his regular videos, regular mukbang videos, but I feel like there's going to be something where the comments start getting to him. The trolls really start getting to him, because I think the comments and the trolls are not going to let up. And I feel like there's going to reach a point where Nikocado Avocado kind of, I don't know if we'll hear him talk about, like, he's going into therapy. I feel like we might hear him talk about he's going into therapy, or he's been seeking, like, spiritualists or psychics or something like that, because there's a lot of energy being thrown at Nikocado Avocado from many different directions. I see energy coming from a lot of the trolls and commenters and haters, but then I also see energy coming from, like, Stephanie and other people, like, around Nick. So I don't feel like all of these people are, like, throwing witchcraft on you, Nick, or anything like that. Some of them are. Some of them probably are. Alright, so it would be good for you to protect your energy, but you just gotta be careful of the things you say, and you have to really be careful of how you maneuver behind the scenes, okay? Because you think you're talking to someone about someone else, and that it's not gonna get back to that person, but eventually it will get back to that person. You know, so, and you don't wanna get to this point where people feel like they can't trust you. Alright? And everyone's afraid of you because they don't know what you're gonna do. They don't know what you're capable of. No one can put anything past you. You know, you always have kind of something up your sleeve, Nick. Now, when it comes to Trisha Paytas, I feel like Trisha Paytas has already... It's interesting because Trisha Paytas has already kind of called Nick out, but I feel like there's going to be another video that Trisha Paytas makes that calls Nick out, and she's going to tell how she really feels about Nick. So I feel like Nick really likes Trisha and looks up to Trisha, but I feel like Trisha's kind of with him. Like, ever since that whole scandal with her ghosting him and him calling her out and trying to cancel her, it's like she's kind of had this thing with Nick where she likes to keep him at an arm's length, right? So, and I feel like Nick has issues with boundaries. Like, not knowing when to, like, okay, you're overstepping my boundaries, I'm uncomfortable. Like, you know, he doesn't know when that's, like, kind of in people. It's like you kind of have to, like, smack him in the face to tell him, I'm uncomfortable, can you stop? You know? But then he gets really offended when you do that. So, like, that's the catch-22. When it comes to Stephanie Sue, I feel like Stephanie Sue is going to keep being successful. I see her coming out with more merch. Although Stephanie is going to get some blowback from this situation because she did a little bit too much. She posted, you know, multiple videos. She also, you know, capitalized off of it with a merch line, I think, the In and Out thing. So I think Stephanie's going to get some payback. Alright, you know, the interesting thing with karma is that, you know, even when we're justified, we have to have that balance between, okay, you know, this is all you need to do, this is all you need to say, you said your piece, and rather than going overboard, because that just builds the karma coming back at you. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what's going to happen with Stephanie. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her getting called out for some more drama down the line, or something about this drama comes back around and she gets called out for it again with this drama. When it comes to Trisha Paytas, I mean, Trisha's not really involved. I feel like Trisha's kind of inserting herself. But, Nick is, you know, I feel like Nick is gonna have to find a whole set of new people to collaborate with, to be honest. He may start collaborating with smaller YouTubers and slowly building his case back up, because a lot of this, Nick, deals with karma for you. Alright, this is like a lot of karmic energy, because there's something, you know, where you have karma that's like showing up now before you even started YouTube. And there's also something with karma about how you started YouTube as well. So I don't know if you use someone to get into YouTube, or if like you use someone else's platform or something like that, but there's something there. I'm not saying that's what happened, but there's something there about karma that even started before YouTube that's showing up now. And it's specifically for all the world to see as well. So I don't know what that means. I just heard all the world to see. So that's what I see about the Nikocado Avocado and Stephanie Sue situation. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share with your friends and family. And if you would be interested in a personal, private, confidential psychic tarot reading from me, an astrology birth chart reading from me, or candle work, I am available and I would love to work with you. So check out my website, call me or text me at 703-791-9162, and I would love to hear from you. I would love to work with you. And I'll see you soon. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notification every time I go live or upload a brand new video.